Welcome, everyone. This is Darryl Chappell. This is a great opportunity to learn about the artist marketplace, and I'm so glad you're here. So this is what you can expect for this evening during our brief overview of the artist marketplace. I will share with you the mission and vision of the Darryl Chappell Foundation, highlight our strategic priorities, go over our learning pathway, talk about the programs of the foundation, and then really focus in on the reason you're here, which is the artist marketplace. Talk about how to apply to the artist marketplace and introduce you to the actual jury, and then talk about next steps. The mission of the Darryl Chappell Foundation is to empower Afrodescendant artists to achieve their highest potential. We envision a day where artists work together to have a positive and transformative impact on their local communities through art. We are a public charity, 501c3, headquartered in Washington, D.C. Our core values are integrity, collaborating with others, helping others, valuing aesthetics, getting the right things done, financial self-sufficiency, continuous improvement, and learning, or also known as education. The strategic priorities of the foundation you see depicted on the screen, really aligning continuously with other nonprofits and organizations that share our values and our artist-centric perspective, strengthening our relationship with artists in our community throughout the United States, Puerto Rico, and the United Kingdom, establishing an e-commerce process, a system, and protocols for artists that are featured in the expanding foundation's artist marketplace, formalizing the criteria for the artist marketplace, continuing our leadership with the National Creative Youth Development Funders Forum in the United States, strengthening our board of directors pipeline, and also, our strategic advisors, and then celebrating the foundation's 5th anniversary later this year in 2024. At the heart of our work is education, starting with parents and guardians and their preschool children, going from there to high school and college university students, then aspiring artists and emerging artists through artists in residencies, and then the 4th phase, working with established artists as mentors and also through artist talks. There are 4 core programs of the Darryl Chappell Foundation. There's the Artist in Residence program, the Artist Talk series, the Fund for Community Art, and the Artist Marketplace. So today we're here to focus on the Artist Marketplace. The Artist Marketplace is a curated online featuring 9 artists, including painting, photography, mixed media. Currently, there are 69 works for sale on the Artist Marketplace, and there have been 5 sales made to date. The benefits for you in considering joining us in the Artist Marketplace is you and your artwork will be featured via the Foundation's website, also through our social media channels, our email distribution lists, and our Google Grant ads, providing a total reach of 3,500 individuals per month. The website is also managed and administered and updated by the Darryl Chappell Foundation. There's low commission on sold artwork. We have a direct connection with art collectors and art patrons throughout the Foundation's community, and you become a part of a larger community of artists aligned on the mission and vision of the Foundation. This is how to apply to the Artist Marketplace. Provide a brief cover letter to introduce yourself and address these 3 specific questions. First, explain how your artistic practice aligns with the mission, vision, and values of the Darryl Chappell Foundation in 1,000 characters or less. Second, how do you believe you will benefit from having your artwork featured in the Artist Marketplace? Also 1,000 characters or less. And then the third question for your cover letter, briefly describe your professional goals and how you believe what the foundation does helps you to achieve moving closer to your goals. 1,000 characters or less as well. Provide your curriculum vitae or your resume, an artist statement, a profile photo, and 3 to 5 works of art for the artist marketplace. Submit all the materials as one PDF to artistmarketplace@darrylchappellfoundation.org. All submittals to the Artist Marketplace at darrylchappellfoundation.org will be reviewed by a committee. The committee is made up of a diverse group of artists, art historians, art curators, art educators, and foundation leadership. The jury, with art industry connections and sensibilities to curating and engaging the Artist Marketplace. Members are either board directors with the foundation or strategic advisors to the foundation. They are invested in the mission, vision, and values of the Darryl Chappell Foundation. Next steps. Applications will be accepted through Friday, May 3rd, 11:59 p.m. Eastern. The jury will meet on Tuesday, June 18th to review all applications that have been submitted complete and make decisions on which artists will be accepted into the Artist Marketplace. A maximum of 3 artists will be accepted this particular round. Each applicant will be contacted and provided with the decision. These are our partner organizations at the Darryl Chappell Foundation. We always like to acknowledge, recognize, and thank our partner organizations. We also like to acknowledge our membership organizations. We are members of the National Creative Youth Development Funders Forum, the Grant Makers in the Arts, and also the National Guild. We also like to highlight you have access to a flash update that is produced quarterly by the Darryl Chappell Foundation. This is a visual depiction of edition 11 that was released on September 2023, pardon me. And these are all the various ways that you can stay connected with us through our website, through our Instagram account, through X, formerly known as Twitter, through an active YouTube account, through LinkedIn, through Facebook, and to gain access to the flash update, which is produced quarterly, there's a link provided as well. Reach out directly to me with questions that you may have. You can also call me at 312-957-6679 with questions and or concerns. Feel free to leave a voicemail. At this point, we'll open it up for any questions that you might have. Feel free to put your questions in the actual chat. I know one question that comes up frequently is with regard to the actual artwork itself in time, how long will my artwork be in the Artist Marketplace if I'm accepted? That's a great question. So recently, artwork has been in the Artist Marketplace an indeterminate amount of time. However, with the jury that we now have, we are looking for artwork to rotate on a more frequent basis. So artists will be encouraged to update their artwork, and we'll also provide opportunities for future artists to join the Artist Marketplace. We're excited about that change. More details to come on the rotation of the artwork. I see one question has come in. What is the market for funds? I'm sorry, I forgot what it's called. So the Fund for Community Art. Thank you for the question. I'll put it in the chat as well. It's called the Fund for Community Art. And the Fund for Community Art supports public art. So the fund actually provides funding to a nonprofit partner to fund a mural, to fund an outdoor artwork, sculpture, something outdoor. We provided our first grant for the Fund for Community Art in Washington, D.C. Sonia Jones, a local artist in the D.C. area, was awarded a grant to produce an actual mural there at the National Children's Center in Washington, D.C. in partnership with the 11th Street Bridge project. That was our first actual public artwork, and the artwork can be still found in Washington at the National Children's Center. The actual artwork is called Hands in Bloom. You can also see it on our website. If you go to Fund for Community Art under programs, you'll see images from the actual inauguration of the mural. So thank you for the question. What other questions do you have? There must be more questions out there with regard to the artist marketplace. We're excited to welcome new applications. As you think of your questions, I would just want to also thank our jury. The jury, as I mentioned, are made up of volunteers. They are volunteering their time to go through the applications. They are volunteering their time to meet in June, and they already volunteer their time to help to craft, to design this call for artist marketplace applications. So thank you to the jury. I really, really value and appreciate all your time that you've already committed to this effort and greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, I'll give it a couple more minutes for questions. Meanwhile, I'll put back on the screen the instructions on how to apply. So on the screen again, you'll see the how to apply to the artist marketplace. And again, submit all your work as one PDF to artistmarketplace@darrylchappellfoundation.org prior to May 3rd, 11:59 p.m. Okay, so let's go back to the questions. I see a couple of questions out there. When putting together an application, what would you say are some key things to keep in mind when compiling materials? That's a great question. A couple of things to keep in mind when you're compiling materials. First, for the cover letter, keep it brief. Less is more. So speak to the core values that I mentioned of the foundation, the 7 core values, and how your artistic practice aligns with those core values. Also, think in terms of, you see the jury, you know, you can look them up in terms of their background. So one is an art critic, an art historian, another is a curator, another works as an arts administrator, a couple are artists. So write your cover letter in particular with the reader in mind. My background is in business. I'm a business professional by trade. So I look for clarity. I look for being concise, get to the point, and then show and demonstrate why you would like to have your artwork as a part of the artist marketplace. How will this benefit you as an artist? thinking about the actual vision of the foundation that artists are working together. So how would you benefit from having your artwork put in the artist marketplace? So those are some of the things, key things I would say keep in mind when you're compiling the materials. And critical is organization. So I would have your materials in the same order as listed on the material slide. And that's back on the screen. So your cover letter first, within your cover letter, address the 3 questions. Keep it brief. I think a page is good enough. If you do 2 pages, it's not bad, but 1 page is good. Include your resume, an artist statement, your profile picture. It doesn't need to be fancy. We're not using that picture for the artist marketplace. If you're accepted into the artist marketplace, we will ask for a little bit more of a profile image for the actual website. And then also think about which works of art you would like to submit to the jury. Those works of art that you select to and give to the jury will reflect on you and will be used to determine entry into the artist marketplace as the jury considers your work in alignment with the other artists in the artist marketplace. So think about what work would you like to submit to have in the artist marketplace, and then have all of this in one PDF, everything in one PDF. And if you have the ability to actually number your pages, that's great. If not, don't worry about it. But numbered pages is really great as well, because we make sure that everything's all together. And if ever anything gets lost, we can say we're missing a page because it's page numbered. So hopefully that answers your question. So thanks for the question. I see another question out there. Where will there be grants for independent artists? And I'm going to the education. I will consider this applicant. Independent artists, grants for independent artists. Perhaps you can tell me more about that question. I'm not certain if I'm following the grants for independent artists. I will say of the 110 artists in our community, many of the artists are independent, meaning I think meaning they kind of are not committed to any particular entity. Some of our artists work with galleries, but they also work with us, and so that's common. And so perhaps if you could talk more about independent, I just want to make sure I'm understanding that part of the question. Meanwhile, what other questions do you have out there? This is a very good interaction. I really appreciate your great questions and the time you've dedicated to submitting a strong application for the jury. I'm sure they all appreciate it as well. I see another question. This looks like a great foundation to have. Thank you so much. I think you're spot on. There have been 5 sales through the artist marketplace, and I do think it's all about the artist being connected with an art collector, an art patron, a customer, if you will. Will the artist also qualify for the auction? This year in 2024, we are not planning today to have an auction. That could change, but at the present moment, we're not planning for an auction. The reason I say it could change, you might recall one of our strategic priorities is in later this year is to celebrate 5 years of the foundation. We're excited about it. We plan to announce an event in person where everyone will be invited. Hopefully, I'll have more details to share with all of you via our social media channels in a couple of weeks. And therefore, at that event, there may be an auction opportunity. So I'm glad you raised the question, but right now it's no planned auction. But if there were to be an auction in the fall, absolutely, the artists who happen to have artwork in the artist marketplace could, yes, also participate in the auction. With the auction, I would imagine it would be a different work that the person is putting in the auction than what is in the artist's marketplace. Take a look at the artist marketplace today on our website, and you see of the 69 works of art, they all they have the prices, they have the dimensions, everything is pretty clear cut. And with auctions, as you probably know, people have an opportunity to bid. With the online artist marketplace, it's priced to buy, it's priced as is. Okay, so let's take a couple more questions, see what other questions are out there. Again, I really, really appreciate the engagement. This is great engagement. Thank you. Let me put myself back on the screen so you can see me as well. Any other questions out there? This video, by the way, will be posted onto the Darryl Chappell Foundation's YouTube channel within 7 business days. So if you missed some of the slides, it'll be on YouTube. You can stop and look at the slide. Or if you missed some of the social media channels, again, you can stop and look at it and you can copy it that way. But I thank you. I thank you for your time. I see another question here. So you don't have to be a part of a nonprofit organization to get a grant. Ooh, so a grant from the Darryl Chappell Foundation? Am I understanding that correctly? So as the person looks to follow up on the question to their question, the Darryl Chappell Foundation provides grants to other nonprofits. And so we have an artist in residency at Syracuse at Lightwork in New York. We fund Lightwork, they fund the artists. We also had artists in residency in New Orleans. We fund the Ogden Museum of Southern Art, they fund the artists. Same thing in Puerto Rico. We fund the Museo de Arte de Puerto Rico, they fund the artists. So we fund the other nonprofit, the museum, they fund the artists. We do have relationships with mentors, where mentors actually mentor artists in our community. In those cases, we pay the mentor $75 an hour. So we directly pay the mentor. And so hopefully that answers your question. And no need to apologize. These are all great questions. Okay, I'll give it another minute, see what other questions might be out there. If you have questions that I did not address or questions that come up after this time, simply email me, Darryl@darrylchappellfoundation.org. I'll put it back on the screen, or call. I do take phone calls, and I also will answer your email. So either way is the best way to reach me. Okay, I'm going to wish you all a great evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world. We do have a global community, and thank you for your time. I look forward to seeing your application. We will review those in June, and then we'll get back in touch with everyone. Whoever applies with a full application, we'll get back to you with the response. Have a great time. Take care. Bye-bye.